of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ballard, thank you for being here and all the witnesses. Ms. Snodgrass, I'm so sorry to hear about your son's passing. And we're hearing these stories way too much, way too frequently. I was a federal prosecutor many years. I was chair of this committee. HSI does some great work. And the movie Sounds of Freedom, very moving, and especially God's children are not for sale. They're not. And what we see with the trafficking is it's one of the worst sins that I've seen in my lifetime, where children are property and they are trafficked. And I want to thank you for your heroism and the job you did to save those children. Problem is, we have more children now trafficked than ever before. Would you agree that this is probably one of the worst human trafficking events of your lifetime?
Absolutely.
Right now?
Absolutely.
On day one, this administration rescinded a policy that was working. It was called Remain in Mexico. And you know how political asylum works. They couldn't touch base in the United States. There was no catch and release. 85% don't qualify, 15% do, and it worked. On day one, it's rescinded. Guess what happens? The floodgates. And every Border Patrol agent I talked to, I'm from the great state of Texas, will tell you that there was a direct cause and effect. But it's not just human trafficking. Now we have almost 100,000 deaths due to fentanyl, which unfortunately Ms. Snodgrass knows only too well. Have you ever seen anything worse from an opioid epidemic in your lifetime?
No.
What's worse is when the kids get here, guess what? They have no legal status. So where do they go, Mr. Ballard? The women, the girls, where do they go?
They have to be released to HHS, where they wait for any sponsor to come and pick them up and take them home. With no
And a
vetting.
lot of times these sponsors have maybe 15 different children. And guess what they're doing? Sex trafficking. They're bringing it now inside the United States of America. And guess what? Where do the young boys typically go? They don't have a home. Maybe they have a sponsor, but guess what happens to them?
Well, they're exploited, labor, sex, any kind of exploitation is available, and they have no name, no number, no identity. They are the perfect victim of any kind of exploitation within this country because no one even knows they exist.
The perfect victim, both the girls and the boys. And the boys, I would argue, go to MS-13 where they got to pay back their debt to the cartels. This is a racket, and it's sanctioned by this administration. In fact, it was created by this administration. Would you agree with that?
The policies absolutely made this possible, absolutely.
The policies. You know, when I was a federal prosecutor, there's aiding and abetting, complicit with an offense. Would you consider these policies to be aiding and abetting the criminal conduct that we're seeing?
Absolutely, especially since the administration has been told and warned and told again that that's what they're doing. And if they continue doing it, absolutely, I'd say they're absolutely hating and abetting, and they're complicit in this.
And Secretary Mayorkas knows better. I've known him for a long time. I worked with Jay Johnson. He was a U.S. attorney like I was in a border state of California. He knows exactly what he's doing, but he's disregarding the truth. And he won't change the policy that's causing so much harm and destruction to this country. Would you say that Secretary Mayorkas is complicit with the human trafficking, with the fentanyls, with the sex trafficking, with the deaths?
Because I've seen him be questioned in hearings, both Senate and House, and I know that he now knows, because I've seen it, I have to say, unfortunately, yes, that he would have to be complicit in it.
Have you ever seen the death rate higher than it is today of people just trying to get to the border?
Never. It's never been this high.
Because there's so many of them.
There's so many.
Because we're open for business. That's a sign the administration put on the border. We're open for business, come on in. Come on in. And once you touch base in the United States, guess what? Catch and release. My first bill in Congress 20 years ago, end, catch and release. And guess what? We're back to it again. It's a failed policy. It doesn't work. We finally had it fixed. And then this administration comes in and they screwed it all up. And it comes at a high price Too many people are dying from overdose. Ms. Snodgrass, my heart goes out to you. My children have been to 5 funerals already of their friends. Too many human trafficking cases. And we just opened up the United States to be a big criminal conspiracy network. Is that correct, Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
I see my time's expired. Thank you so much. And I appreciate all of you. And Mr. Ballard, thanks for the job you have done.
Thank you, sir.
Gentleman yields. I now recognize